Khanna. If you're a parent who worries about your child constantly being glued to their smartphone, being completely lost in the virtual world, and rarely raising their head to look up from the phone screen to pay attention to the real world around them, well, then this story is for you. UNESCO, that's United Nations Education, Science and Cultural Agency, has urged all schools across the world to ban the use of smartphones to tackle classroom disruption and to protect children from cyberbullying. A recent report published by the global education body has provided evidence-backed proof that excessive use of smartphones has led to reduced educational performance, and high levels of screen time have a detrimental effect on school children. UNESCO says the call for a global ban on smartphones in schools sends a clear message that digital technology, including artificial intelligence, should be used for catering to a human-centered vision of education and never replace in-person interaction with teachers. UNESCO has warned policymakers against an unthinking embrace of digital technology, arguing that its positive impact on learning outcomes and economic efficiency could be overstated, and new is not always better. Not all change constitutes progress. Just because something can be done does not mean it should be done, says UNESCO. The report says, with more learning moving online, especially in universities, policymakers should not neglect the social dimension of education, where students receive face-to-face teaching. UNESCO says countries need to ensure that they have clear objectives and principles in place to ensure that digital technology in education is beneficial and avoids harm both to individual students' health and, more widely, to democracy and human rights, for instance, through invasion of privacy and stoking of online hatred. Excessive or inappropriate use of technology in the classroom and at home, whether smartphones or tablets or laptops, could be distracting, disruptive, and result in a detrimental impact on learning, according to this UNESCO report, which cites large-scale international assessment data that indicates a negative link between excessive use of digital technology and the performance of students. The report goes on to state that although technology could potentially open up opportunities for learning for millions, the benefits are unequally spread, with many poorer people from around the world effectively excluded. A digital educational infrastructure is expensive and its environmental costs are often underestimated. But here are some important facts to consider. 45% of students in India's National Open University are from rural areas and 18% from scheduled castes. 18% of the Open University students in the United Kingdom have a disability. In Afghanistan, as the Taliban regime has forbidden girls to attend secondary education, many continue learning in secret schools, of which a small number are online. In Bangladesh, India and Pakistan, the Girls Inspire project uses open and distance learning to reach girls who've been prevented from attending school due to early marriage, cultural norms and distance. Evaluations have found that the project had a positive impact on access to economic opportunities and the ability to make health decisions, understand social rights and access resources. In India, the Indira Gandhi National Open University, which is the world's largest university with over 3.3 million enrolled students, serves traditionally marginalized communities who would otherwise remain deprived of higher education. It uses a multi-instructional system that includes print and audiovisual materials, radio, television, web conferencing and instant messaging. In 2020, 45% of enrolled students were women, 12% scheduled tribes, 18% scheduled castes and 18% from other backward classes. In addition, 45% of enrolled students were from rural areas, up from 38% in 2016. However, the UNESCO report cites case-based evidence from countries like China, which have set boundaries for the use of technology as a teaching tool. The country has limited the use of smartphones to 30% in schools, with students instructed to take regular screen breaks. Based on its analysis of 200 education systems around the world, UNESCO estimates that 1 in 6 countries have banned smartphones in school, either through law or guidance. These include France, which introduced its policy in 2018, and the Netherlands, which will bring in restrictions from 2024. However, the ban received some backlash from the French Head Teachers Union. In an effort to promote a focused learning environment in schools, the government in Finland passed a law banning mobile phones in schools just this month. In the United Kingdom, the former Education Secretary Gavin Williamson called for a mobile phone ban in schools in 2021 as part of a crackdown on per-student discipline. But this was dismissed as a distraction by education unions who said schools had smartphone use policies in place for years. So, where do you weigh in on this debate? Should children be encouraged to use smartphones in schools, or should they be discouraged from staying glued to those devices? Well, we're leaving you with that thought, but that's all the time we have on this edition of Global Lens. If you have been, thanks so much for watching. Do join us again at the same time tomorrow. Good night.
Pakistan is actually genociding Baloch people. So being Baloch is a crime. If you are a Baloch, it means in the eyes of Pakistan, you don't have any right to live.
The Chinese and Pakistanis are colonizing the Baloch and exploiting their resources.
The Baloch armed struggle will continue unless China will draw from Pakistan.